Oh, that's hot. All right, Dragon Family, episode 5 of 7, closing out winter 2023 in style. Today was my last day at my Today was the last day at my old job, I guess now. So I spent the day packing up my stuff and saying goodbye and just returning all the work stuff, the laptop and the keys and whatnot. Um, yeah, I was a little anxious to start the day, but I'm just confident in the path that I'm on to the point where I just trust the process. There really is no room for fear anymore. And it's not that I don't feel it, the fear of change or the fear of failure um, or anything like that, but it's that I can kind of break it down into bite-sized pieces where I can just kind of rationalize it down into just what it is. Like anxiety is about living in the future and kind of projecting your mentality into a state of unknown, essentially, where your body is stuck in the here and now, but your mind is kind of anticipating what's going to happen or what could happen, and that is essentially what anxiety is, and that's where it comes from. So if you can come back into your body, if you can kind of come back into the moment and realize that moment by moment you can make the right choices um, as far as choosing love over fear, then you can kind of take the power away from this projection into the unknown, because it really it's about survival. Like you always you don't picture. It's easy to it's easier to picture the worst case scenario or the things that could go wrong versus the things that can go right. I think I don't know what human behavior is. It must be like a survival thing or fight or flight or something like that. But um, at least in my experience, it's always been like natural to resort to the worst case, like self preservation um, in some very unhealthy ways for sure, and that can affect your attitude and your emotions now. So like it does if you can step back and observe it like the clouds passing above the sky, just as they are. It's like a dream. If you wake up from a dream, you can kind of calm yourself down and realize it was just nothing. It was like your imagination just running away. And granted, some dreams are worse than others, but um, yeah, just taking a step back, detaching from that projection into the unknown, and realizing that moment by moment, you have the power to to make those split second decisions of not even split second decisions, but to take your time to react to any situation at all. And by choosing love over fear and really checking in with your mentality as situations arise or as moments pass, and just staying in that moment and not projecting or not retracting into the like past experience, um, that's where the real change is going to happen. That's where the growth is going to happen, and that's essentially where I was today. uh, God bless my girlfriend. She's able to kind of um, even without me saying, she can kind of predict where my mind is at. So right away, it was a reminder to be grateful. Um, Extremely lucky to be aware of my psychology in the sense of why I'm doing this, like why I'm even recording these videos, why I started at all, why 2023 has been my year for almost as far back as I can remember. Really, like it's um, always been the point in time I was working towards, so that this that's a danger. I don't really like the way that sounds, but due to circumstances in my life that happened, 2023 ended up being the year that it was all going to kind of come full circle, and I'll be under my own umbrella of influence again, and that the bankruptcy will be cleared. Um, in 8 years, I was in the Navy for 8 years, so now it's 8 years since I've been out. Um, and this and that, like the bankruptcy was a big thing in the sense of just pride, I guess, in a way. But like financially, and this was just my year for a long time. Like I was born January 23rd, so if I figured it was just like a sign or whatever. So I knew this was going to be a powerful year, and it, oh boy, holy fuck! It's even before the year started. Like I was just blown away by the connection and the um, my mindset. Like I knew, like I was still heavy into weed smoking at the time, but throughout December, I felt this guilt. I knew something had to change, and I knew that this year was essentially my sink or swim moment. Like 8 years ago, it was sink or swim when the Navy kicked me out. I could either fucking play victim or um, dust myself off, go back to school, this and that, sharpen skates part time as I fucking struggle to afford a coffee in the mornings. But uh, the cafeteria there, she let me open a tab type of thing because thank God she did, because some days I wasn't even able to afford a coffee. We were stuck with a truck payment because it was co-signed, and the co-signer was in no position to take over anything, so bankruptcy couldn't clear that, and it was a fucking mess. No, it wasn't a mess. It was a test. It was all a very big test, and that was the sink or swim moment where I could have went either of two ways. I could have kind of retracted into the darkness, or I could kind of start to claw myself out of this fucking hole, make it ground zero, and just arise and like a phoenix from the ashes. And here I am today. Like it's I don't even want to say it's been an 8 year process because it started before that. This is like a lifelong process, I think, and it's taken me, let's say fucking 30. How old am I? 38. It's taken me at least 35 years to get here, I'd say. Um, and that's just coming to terms with my parents' separation when I was younger. I took that on myself over the years, I guess. Because my brothers are 7 and 8 years older, so here comes me. Everybody was happy before I came along, and then boom, like fucking. I still don't even know what exactly happened, but my dad took us, and we ended up back with my mom, and then dad had us again, and like it's all just fucked. But yeah, I took responsibility for that unnecessarily, I realize. And then I just was so confused over so many years of what the fuck happened. And I was sheltered from it all, so it just made it worse. But yeah, anyways, it's been a long fucking road, and I'm just so grateful to be where I'm at mentally. I'm grateful that I never gave up. I never gave into the darkness, even though it definitely tried. And I think the same demons that took my father, they definitely tried to come for me, and that's pretty much the war I've been waging. Um, my father died a pretty stubborn and pretty determined. I was going to say old man, but he wasn't even that old. Like he died from basically cardiac arrest, a heart attack, and stroke, and he just smoked himself into the grave. Like he withdrew. And once he passed, that's when I started running in 2019. He passed in January 2019, and I started running later that year. I believe it was August. Um, and I just didn't want to. I seen the fate that awaited me if I was going down that road. if I kept going down that road, I meant. So since he passed, it was more or less um, it was in the back of my mind. So I think that's where a lot of the guilt came from. Um, but yeah, it's been a fucking process. So today, that it's just a continuation of it all. I think to not be afraid of change, to not be afraid of success. Even there was a quote this morning that um, popped into my head after a talk with my girlfriend, and oddly enough, it tied into her book that she's reading. So like stuff starts to go full circle, and like there's little messages hidden in those moments of coincidences or like little signs. I think they're little signs of validating your feelings or the path that you're on. So if you can start to be in tune with your inner voice, I think you can start to see these little messages, and fuck knows where they come from. You could call it God or guardian angel or the universe or whatever you want, but it's undeniable that something calls for me and something's looking out for me. And I'm finally listening. I'm finally having the courage to pursue what, um, not what it's telling me, but what it's showing me. I see nothing but potential, and I am determined to do what it takes to get there. So today was about being being the example, like setting the example for people that might be stuck in their own thought process. That maybe somebody will get the seed planted that they can challenge their own status quo, that they can transcend their own harmful choices, whether they're aware of these choices or habits. Um, it's kind of not even important, but to ask the question like what could I do better, what choices could I make to better my own um, life experience, essentially. Like what can I do to make this more enjoyable. And that's what this is all about, essentially. That's where the whole wayward wizard thing comes in, because I've always felt a little outside of the box. Even when I fit in, I felt like I didn't fit in, or that I wasn't supposed to, I guess. So, yeah, that's the burden that I embrace. If I can be that for somebody, then I'm on the right path. And yeah, as uncomfortable as it is to say goodbye to so many friends that I've made over the years, my choices are rooted in um, they're rooted very much in introspection. And yeah, I'm confident in the process. So once I got not at my girlfriend's house tonight, obviously there's a garage door. This is the place that we're moving out of. So I got home, said goodbye to my girlfriend, and I just looked around at all the stuff I have to pack, and I could feel my heart getting anxious again. I could feel my brain kind of getting away from me. So what did I do? Yeah, I just kept thinking that I still have like 2 weeks to pack and stuff. So it was just coming back to the moment. Um, and yeah, just really leaning into the setting the example and following through with this the path that I've chosen. Like there was no trigger to smoke or anything, obviously. I mean, not obviously. I'm just getting that out there that I did not. I'd be lying if the thought wasn't there, but I never once kind of thought it was a good idea. I just want to. I don't even know what day it is after THC or whatever, but I obviously stopped counting after 28. Um, but we're beyond a month now, I'm sure. So, yeah, I went for a run. I got these new shoes, and I made sure to thank um, the people responsible for. I won a coupon or whatever at a trail race. So, just expressing gratitude today, And I owe it to my girlfriend. The first thing that she said to me this morning basically was just to be thankful. Um, and that kind of triggered me to remember love over fear. Love conquers fear if you choose to. So Um, yeah, today was pretty great. It was great in the sense of progress, and progress isn't always comfortable. It's not supposed to be comfortable. If it's comfortable, then obviously you're in your comfort zone, and you need to push a little bit. You need to kind of check in with yourself, see if it's the right place. Really reassess your thought process and make sure that fear doesn't rule you. And I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but I know I mentioned about it, but the quote that I was referring to earlier, oh gosh, I forget her name. Marianne Williamson, I believe it was. And the book was A Return to Love. Don't quote me on that, but the quote had to do with um, our biggest fear is not that we're inadequate, but our biggest fear has to do with that we are powerful beyond measure, and that it is our light that we're afraid of versus our darkness, because the darkness seems to be, and I paraphrase that, I'm sure, but the quote goes on. It's a very beautiful quote. Maybe I'll post it in the comments or description somehow. But yeah, it's powerful in the sense that darkness is the comfort zone. Darkness feels safe, and the fear of success, like that's something that I can kind of relate to, and it's a relatively new kind of realization in that um, it's almost self sabotage, where you don't feel like you deserve success, or like, who am I? And the quote goes on, like, who am I to be so um, fabulous and glorious, or like, who am I to let my light shine? And it goes on to say, like, who are you not to be? Like, who are you to deprive the world of your potential? Um, you're a child of God, and God created you for a reason. And to deny that potential that you can offer the world, is a very selfish act. It's a very selfish act to kind of keep it to yourself and to hide from the exposure and the vulnerability that goes along with it. So once you can start to kind of turn the table of perception like that, um, and even I can relate it to my Capes experience last year. My Capes 100, I kind of more or less kept it to myself in a way, in the sense that I wasn't sharing the I shared the process, but I didn't share like the underlying motivations or the real mental and spiritual guidance that I was seeking, that I was asking for. But it was there. It was certainly, it carried me through. When my mind and my body wouldn't work, there was something else there that just did not let me quit. And it's it's fucking giving me goosebumps right now just talking about it. But that's the feeling that allowed me to kind of see the harmful choices that I was making to keep myself in this little cozy corner. And like, I just knew that I had to challenge these. I won't even call them demons, but I had to challenge these thoughts I had of myself. It was a very selfish place for me to be, especially because I know for a fact I've helped a couple people just kind of with their own idea of themselves or what's possible, but it was very selfish of me to kind of to keep it in, to keep it contained. So yeah, that's essentially my mission is to just express everything, and I will not stop until I feel that I have given everything. And like, Lord, there is no finish line for that. Like, it's going to be every day, it's going to be every moment. Every choice is about maximizing my value to the environment and to um, to add my light to the world. Like I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of anything anymore. Um, and it's not that I'm without fear. It's that I know moment by moment I can make the right choices and just to let my light shine fearlessly, just like a fucking dragon would. A dragon doesn't give a fuck, right? A dragon's just gonna like fucking breathe fire on its problems or something. Like feed the dragon your darkness and let it turn into light, and let your soul fire burn. Let it fucking burn. Let it out. Um, Let it grow. Let it grow. Let it shed its skin. Let it do its thing. Let its wings spread open and let the fucker fly. That's where we're at. Wayward Wizard. Um, I think that about covers everything, but I'll post that quote in the description or comments. I don't fucking know what the best idea is, but anyways, not day 5. Episode 5 of 7, Winds of Winter coming to a close. Spring is in the air. This run was beautiful today. The sun was out. The wind was talking to me and the crows, they reassured me. They assured me this is the right path. And yeah, that's it. Peace, love, and clarity as always. Let that dragon burn, baby.